President Valentine.
All right. The meeting will come to order. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Melody?
Here.
Mr. Weininger?
Here.
Mrs. May?
Here.
And Mr. Valentine.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. This evening, Dr. Deagle, will you please lead us? Approval of the agenda for this evening's meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Harris. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Melody. Questions or comments? The agenda is pretty straightforward. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Melody?
Yes.
Mr. Weininger?
Yes.
Mrs. May?
Yes.
And Mr. Valentine.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Board President, Board of Education comments. I've got a few prepared remarks that I want to make sure that I cover, but before we do that, I'd like to turn it over to fellow board members for any comments this evening.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for being here tonight. I feel, there's been a lot of comments throughout the community for the last couple of weeks with everything that's gone on with the search process. I feel that it was a condensed search process, but from the people I have talked to through the community discussions and the staff discussions, everything was extremely positive. Great comments, some people had concerns of how quick the search was, but I think as it boiled down to from a board standpoint, we're familiar with the candidate, we're impressed with his credentials, and we think we have a great fit for our district going forward. And I'm happy to be here tonight and support the recommendation.
Give some, Rick. Did you have any comments?
I guess everybody's looking my way, so it must be my turn. So thank you to everyone for being here tonight, and this is a very special event for any school district to hire a new superintendent. One of our mandated duties as a Board of Education, and in addition to setting board policy, hiring the superintendent and treasurer are basic responsibilities. So we are pleased tonight to talk about a superintendent candidate and talk about the direction that he has for the district. I would like to thank John for the time that I had to meet with him individually. One of the most important things we can do as a Board of Education is get a solid sense of the man that or woman that we're hiring. And in this case, I had over an hour to sit and talk and discuss the direction of our district and the positive things that he's done in his career. And I'm excited about the opportunity to finish this discussion and help our district move on. Thank you.
I just wanted to mention something. I'm very proud of us as a board because we do listen to everyone who grumbles, everyone who's happy. We listen to everyone. And in the end, we go and do what we feel is the right thing to do, not for us, for the students. So I'm very proud to work with people, thank you, that does the right thing. And that said, what I'm sure of, I'm sure that 8 years ago, I was hoping that we could hire Dr. Marshausen, so it's kind of been an 8-year interview, and I'm sure he is the leader that we need for the district now. That's it.
So I'll just add that I agreed with my colleague Melody, then Weininger, and then the most with Lynn May, so I concur this is one of the most important decisions we make. You've done a great job, and thanks again for your leadership, the board's leadership, and Valentine throughout the past 2 years. So thank you very much. Over to you, President Valentine.
All right. Tonight's an exciting night for our district. As your elected Board of Education, all 5 of us, as you've heard, recognize the significance of this decision in selecting the next superintendent for the Dublin City School District. It is one of, if not the most important decision that we will make for our community. In Dublin, we know that we need an experienced superintendent that can build and foster a culture committed to meeting the individual needs of our students, every single student in our district. In Dublin, we know that we need an experienced superintendent that will provide balanced leadership and a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. In Dublin, we know that we need an experienced superintendent with a proven track record of leading a large, fast-growing, high-achieving school district. Dr. Marshausen has served as the superintendent of the Hilliard City School District for the past 8 years, and he's done just that. 4 board members actually had the opportunity to meet and interview Dr. Marshausen over 8 years ago. So in many ways, as Mrs. May said this evening, it's been an 8-year interview process. We were impressed then, and we're even more impressed now. As you may know, a large and diverse group of staff, parents, and community leaders interviewed Dr. Marshausen recently, and there was a strong consensus among them that the board should hire Dr. Marshausen. The community committee included our key communicators, PTO presidents, and representatives from the district's Committee on Diversity and Equity and Inclusion, representatives from the Mayor's Office, City Council, and the Dublin Chamber of Commerce. Our internal committee included both the teachers and classified union presidents, as well as 7 other union representatives chosen by the DEA and DSA. Principals, HR, our executive director of student services and special education, both directors of elementary and secondary education, and others. At this time, I think it's important to share some of the feedback provided by those committee members. If you'll hang with me, there's a few of them here, but I think it's important. I asked them for permission to share their comments, and out of respect for them and the time that they took, I think that we'll go through them here this evening. First, Tiffany De Silva, a parent from the school district. I think Dr. Marshausen is a great candidate and would help bring our district together while implementing our goals and building on our common values. Deb Papish, longtime Dublin resident, has been involved in probably every facet of the Dublin City School District, has one daughter who's a teacher in the district now, another who graduated and will have children in the district. She said during many complicated episodes during the pandemic this year, his response to tough topics via shared videos had a calming, reassuring effect, not only to Hilliard parents, but to many in the Dublin City School District as well. He will continue to build on the positives of what has been built by previous leaders before him and add his own unique nuances. Amy Licata, parent from the Dublin City School District. John touched on many areas of concern that we were facing as a community, including political divisiveness, growth within our schools, especially at the high school level, special needs education, specifically dyslexia, and the future of the Emerald campus. His approach seemed moderate and focused on bringing coherence to the parents, teachers, and students in the Dublin City School District. Dublin has many obstacles that will face our district in the coming years, and I think he provides the balanced leadership we need to be successful. Imran Malik, parent in the Dublin City School District. Dr. Marshausen has proven his leadership and service delivery not only locally but at the state level. Dr. Marshausen has an excellent history of relationship building and working with diverse student and community spectrums. He is strategic and also a true people person. Heather Carlisle, I can tell already he will be a great asset to the Dublin City School District, and I urge you and the board to move forward quickly so that we don't miss the opportunity to have such a great servant leader lead our district. Craig Krenzel, parent in the district. I do sincerely believe he is highly qualified and appears to possess the necessary traits to be a strong leader that our district needs. Promise I only have a few left. Chuck Kranstuber, current Washington Township trustee, past mayor, city councilman for the city of Dublin. He seems highly qualified and comes from a similar district that would allow him to hit the ground running. I've been involved in many searches from city managers, fire chiefs, and township administrators. I am very impressed by this candidate. Andy Wilkinson, principal, Grizel Middle School. I heard him talk a lot about relationships and the value that he places on the strength and importance. He talked a lot about shared leadership and utilizing the strengths of the people on the team and allowing them to do their work. Mike Allren, Dublin Jerome principal. He has the opportunity to bring heart to the relationships in the district. Our teachers and community need to know and hear that we care and love our kids, I believe he can communicate and build the trust required to do that. And lastly, Colin Kelly, 4th grade educator, Wyandotte Elementary. We need someone with experience who can jump right in and right the ship. Dublin is not broken. There are lots of good people here hungry for authentic leadership. John can navigate the tricky waters of Central Ohio school leadership and bring us all together. With that said, before we move to the resolution, I'd like to call up Ms. Donna O'Connor, President of our Dublin Educators Association, to share a few brief words.
Thank you. Good evening. And on behalf of the Dublin Educators Association, we look forward to partnering with Dr. Marchhausen as he potentially joins our district as superintendent. Voting is next, so just wait. His wealth of experience will be of tremendous benefit to our school community, and we anticipate working with him to foster a positive, kind, and inclusive teaching and learning environment for all of our students and our staff. So we welcome you and thank you for everything that you're bringing here to Dublin. Thanks.
With that said, any final comments? We'll move on to the resolution. Resolution to employ the superintendent. Whereas the Dublin City School District Board of Education desires to employ John Marchhausen, PhD, as superintendent of schools effective August 1st, 2021, and whereas the board has conducted a search to fill the position of superintendent of schools, utilizing consulting services as well as staff, community, and administrative input, and Dr. Marchhausen has been selected as the best candidate for that position. Whereas the transition of authority from superintendent and interim superintendent to Dr. Marchhausen would be greatly facilitated by Dr. Marchhausen's involvement and participation in the administrative affairs of the district prior to August 1st, 2021. Whereas Section 3313.171 of the Ohio Revised Code specifically authorizes the employment of consultants for matters relating to the administration of the district. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board employ Dr. John Marchhausen as superintendent of schools for the Dublin City School District effective August 1st, 2021, and be it further resolved that the board employ Dr. Marchhausen to provide consulting services to the district effective May 1st, 2021 for matters relating to the administration of the district and the transition of authority from the current superintendent, and be it further resolved that the board president and vice president be authorized to execute the employment contracts with Dr. Marchhausen on behalf of the board and consistent with and subject to the terms as submitted for consideration by the board at this meeting. Is there a motion? Moved by Mrs. May.
I second.
Second by Mr. Melody. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. May?
Yes.
Mr. Melody?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Weininger?
Yes.
And Mr. Valentine.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
First of all, thank you to the Board of Education for the confidence that you have instilled and seen in me to accept this honor as serving as Dublin Superintendent. 4 of us had the opportunity to meet in 2013 as we went through that process, and I've had the opportunity over the last 8 years to get to know Mr. Weininger, and I'm excited to work with this board and this leadership team to serve this community. I'd like to thank my wife, Susan, my daughter, Emily, my daughter, Jordan, and my future son-in-law, Matt, for being with us here this evening. As I said in the interviews with the community and with the staff, I'm a husband first and I'm a dad first. And it's great that they're here to support me, and they've been with me every step of this journey. And we start the next chapter in our lives serving the Dublin community. I also know that you wouldn't have asked me and given me this honor if there wasn't a lot of work to do. And I believe I'm a better candidate today than I would have been in 2013. And to the community members that we will be working together with, our pledge is that during these difficult times, as we come out of the COVID pandemic and move forward, as we have conversations about equity, diversity, and race, And as we look at what is necessary for students who are going to graduate in 2022 to our kindergartners who are going to be graduating in 2033 and 2034, we must have open conversations, we must have community engagement, and we must find a space where we may not always agree, but we have mutual respect, that we listen. And our commitment is that you will know the why, even if you don't agree with the what, that we will have that opportunity to explain our why. So thank you so much. I look forward to working with the board, with the administrative team, and with the entire community. And most importantly, to our teachers who are the front line each and every day, who are the ones who are paving the way, who are doing the work with our students. I look forward to working with our teachers, with our classified employees, with our custodians. It was evident there's so much pride when we had the opportunity to meet together. So I look forward to serving this community. Thank you.
Well, one of the most important meetings of the year is going to be one of the shortest meetings of the year. With that said, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Weininger, second by Mr. Harris. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Weininger?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Melody?
Yes.
Mrs. May? Yes. And Mr. Valentine?
Yes, motion passes 5-0.